everybody! Anybody think I've been somewhere? I've been away. Oh, no I haven't. Yes I have. I've forgotten how you start these things. Let me do this again. Hello everybody. I'm back. Where have you been, Guy? I hear you all cry. Yes, I heard you in Michigan. I've been really busy. Busy. Very busy. 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 Very busy. Doing stuff like this. Alfie, come here. Hey, Alfie. Alfie. Oh, I've been very busy. Look, you banana. Come here. Oi. Good boy. Come on, Alfie. Let's go. One, two, three. Oh, success. Okay, where have I been? I've been working on a project which is under a non-disclosure agreement at the moment, so I can't tell you anything about it, but I can tell you a number of the lessons and conclusions I came away with, because it's not a huge project, but it's big enough, and it's live orchestra and all kinds of other things. And I decided to completely reconsider every aspect of the way I went through this workflow, the tools I used, the way I went about writing it, everything, top to bottom. And I came away with a whole range of interesting lessons, and I think you might like me to share them with you. I hope you do. If not, what's the point? What is the point? Okay, there's 2 big failures, epic fails, and 3 big wins. And we're going to go through them one by one so that you can learn from my successes and failures. You ready for that? Let's do it. Number 1. Do you still really need a template in 2021? Oh, yes, you do. Okay, I started this project thinking, no, I'm going to start with a blank canvas, an empty project for each cue. It'll be like running in slow motion through fields of summer flowers, and it will be liberating and creative and all the rest of it. Oh, this is sort of true for about the first 10 minutes. And then you get into the weeds with all the routing, how you send each instrument to the right stem, and very quickly you realise that this was not your best idea, and it starts to consume more and more time, and then you sort of on the fly start building a template. But of course, because you're sort of doing it as you go incrementally, each cue the template is a bit different. This was a really bad idea. Really bad idea. It's great to start and have your ideas like that, but if this is the lesson, if this is going to be a project where you're going to write multiple cues, whatever, just use a template. Even if it's an empty template which has just got all the routing in it and empty instruments which you can then, because it's very nice having the freedom not to just go knee-jerk, what? Let me load up the same samples I did last time. And for example, I've been using a lot of the VSL Pro strings, which are exceptionally good. And so those sides of it are good, but you need some basic kind of template. The other thing is, this is an orchestral job, so the template is, even a fairly lean orchestral template is what, 20, 30 gigabytes, and that, it's fine if you're going to load that first thing in the morning and then spend all morning considering your creative options and writing lovely music and all that. When you start loading and unloading projects all the time, it's so dull. Because however fast everything is, 30 gigabytes takes a while to load and unload, and that's time I could be doing something else. I could be learning Serbocrat or macrame or something. Anyway, it's not a good idea to sit there, and I have no patience. So I'm sitting there going, come on, load faster. Load faster. Anyway, so next time Yes, I will have a basic template, even if I don't fill it with all the instruments I need. And if I'm doing orchestral stuff, I'm definitely going back to using VSL Ensemble Pro, because having all the instruments in a separate thing makes perfect sense. It just speeds the whole thing up. So despite all the step forwards with things like Logic and their sort of 1,000 aux tracks and all the rest of it, ultimately you still need all the routing, you still need the same approach, you still got to have a philosophy and a technique and a workflow which is going to work when you put it to the test, and that's what I've learned. So that was my first, and it was an epic fail. Number 2, can you teach film scoring and do it at the same time? And this is a big win, because the answer is definitely yes. Okay, so we started our postgrad program for film, television, games composers 5 years ago. And a lot of the stuff I've done has since then has been sort of big animation things, and pretty much with quite a lot of animation, you score what you see on the screen. This job is slightly different and required quite a lot more thought. And what I've actually discovered incrementally over those years is when you are forced to explain what you're thinking to other people, you slow everything down and you get great insights yourself. So this is a huge benefit. I have learned a lot from trying to explain or engaging with the postgrad students, so that now when I approach this, I definitely approach the composition of this from a different angle. And I think that definitely brought benefits to me, to the project, to the clients, and to the music. So thinking about, rather than just kind of, knee-jerk, doing what you've done a million times before. Knee-jerk is good if you need to turn something out really quickly, but actually sitting back, in a friendly kind of way, putting on the sunglasses of doubt and saying, is this the best way of doing this cue? Actually, I was interviewing Dario Marino end of last year, and he was saying how on many occasions he will write a film and he'll go back to the beginning and do it all over again. Is there a better way of doing it? Oh, and I thought, whoa, what? That's really kind of, hardcore. Whoa. He's right, though. A lot of the time, the best idea you have is not the first. Sometimes it is, but not always. So, the interaction between teaching and doing is really strong, and that is definitely a big win. Number 3, this is a bit geeky, but it's about software. Dorico, it was great. It was fantastic. I mean, it's quite a big project for a to us, a brand spanking new piece of scoring software. It smashed it. It absolutely smashed it. And there were so many things in there which made it just massively superior to working in Sibelius. There are still some little niggly things, trying to really precisely place your hairpins and your dynamics, and the way it deals with tied notes is a bit funky, but overall there is no going back to Sibelius. I am a fully 100% Dorico person. And hand in hand with that is Cubase. I know a lot of you are Logic people, and I'm sure, just bear with me for a second. Over the course of time, Cubase has acquired more and more little tiny things which just make this huge difference at the end of the day. To show you what I mean, let me hand you over to the shed and my best friend, Guy. Over to you, Guy. Hello, Guy. Next time you decide to take 2 months off, let me know. I've been sitting here for 2 months, being fed tiny little micro sandwiches by dormice to keep me alive. Anyway, what I want to do is show you just a couple of the many, many reasons which I find Cubase incredibly valuable for any form of film scoring, because and actually lots of other forms of music production, because it's got these little simple things which save you ages and ages and ages. If you're absolutely wedded to Logic or Bitwig or whatever, you've got probably about 2 or 3 minutes to watch cat videos, but I mean, why not stay around? Because this might just open your eyes to a few things. Okay, so here we have a fairly typical little sequence. There's the movie. Here's all the tracks down here. The first thing to do, if you want a click track, which you want to export as audio, this is how you do it. You set your locators at the beginning and end of the sequence, like that. You go to Project. You go down to Signature Track. And then in there, it says Render Audio Click Between Locators. You click on that, and there it is. Time saved, I should say so. Right, thing number 2. We have all these tracks down here as MIDI. We want to render them as audio. The first thing to do, there's a really cool key command. It doesn't come up as a normal kind of one which is preset. You have to go into the key commands, find the command and assign a thing to it so that it'll be on the end of a button for you. And it's really worth it. There's a similar command in Logic. It's not quite as good, but it's nearly as good. And just in general, actually, key commands, these things here. Ooh, where have you gone? Yeah, that's the one. Here's the fella. Right, let's look at these things. There are hundreds of commands in here which are not available anywhere other than if you decide you really like them and you want to set a little key command to access them. So what I'd recommend is, okay, so the one I'm going to look for is, here we go. If I search for locator, I go down here, go into the one, transport chain, into left locator, no, not that. Go to right locator, locator select, go to locator, record start locator. Look how many different things there are. Insert agents. This is the one. Look, show channels tracks with data between the locators. This is very cool. So in other words, you set the locators and it says which tracks have got something on it. I'm just going to show you those. This is why it's useful. Okay, so I've got this assigned to a button, and then you have another button assigned here, which is show all. In other words, because you want to undo that. So when I push the button, look, you get the whole lot like this. And if I want to undo it, you just push the undo button. Now I've got these actually set up on a button on my Stream Deck, so it's even easier. But you can easily assign it to a key command or an F number or something like that. Okay, once you've got this, why is this cool? Okay, select the lot of them. There you go. You select the lot. Now, suppose you want to export these as audio. Go here, File, Export, Audio Mixdown. Up comes this menu here. Now, choose Multiple. This is the key. This is the really cool button here. This little chain. What it's doing is it's just selecting the tracks you've got selected in your tracks window. So rather than have to go through and do them all one by one, it just does it automatically for you. So next, click remove all from queue, then add all. So that just clears whatever was there before. Then we go give the things a name, and then we are going to go down here, file wave type, and we're going to have a WAV file. Insert the broadcast WAV chat. This is worth doing because what this does is embed the timecode in the audio file. So if you want it to whiz about and go back, I mean, if you want it to be able to go back to its original timecode position, that's the way you do it. And we're going to have it so that it creates audio tracks, so it's going to import it. Then you hit that button there and sit back and make a cup of tea, or not make a cup of tea, you haven't got enough time, because bing! Go on, bing! It's done. Right, you go down the bottom and there they all are. Look, and they're all exactly the same length and all that. That is, look, there they are, down the bottom. Here you go, all the tracks, all bounced out, all neatly. How wonderful is that? I mean, honestly, I can't tell you how much time that saves me on a job like this. In fact, nili fadi muda mwingi nilifunza kuingia Kiswahili. Well, I've got to do something with the time I've saved, haven't I? So I thought, you know, learning to speak Swahili would be a really good idea. So look, I mean, but those are just a tiny number of the reasons which these tiny little things which make, you know, literally saves days or even weeks on a big project. So from me, back to you, Guy. Number 4, another big win, and that's a workflow thing when you actually get to a live recording. In the past, pretty much most of the time, I'd have one score for one cue, one Pro Tools session, load it up, play it, record it, great, move on. The amount of time it takes, and time is money in a huge way when you're in a live orchestral session. Every minute you waste, if you make a mistake in the score, and the clarinet puts his hand up at the back and says, is that a B flat or an A natural? Okay, they don't, I'm sorry. A, that presupposes that the clarinetist is a bloke, and B, they don't speak like that. So to the National Union of Clarinetists, the International Guild of Clarinetists, I apologise. Nonetheless, the point is, you've got 60 musicians there. It takes 1 minute to answer that question. You've wasted one collective hour of musicians' time, which has probably cost you, anything, 100 quid, whatever. So you have to get everything right. And changing scores, changing Pro Tools sessions takes time. And I thought to myself last time I did this, is this the best way of doing it? No, it's not. So what we do now, we'll take 2, 3, 4 cues, put them on a single Pro Tools session, single piece of score, and then blast through. So you can still deal with them as individual cues and record each one and go over it and makes it better and all the rest of it. If you're running really short of time, as we got quite short of time towards the end, so okay, just blast through it. Start at bar 1, end at bar 150, that's that. So you get one take of the whole thing. That was a big win. And we'll definitely go back to, it's the only way I'm going to do it now. So, there. Number 5, should you change everything at the same time? Epic fail. This makes life infinitely more stressful than it needs to be. Do things one at a time, Guy. Don't chuck everything out and start from scratch. It's just, unnecessarily hard work. What you probably should do is look at each element of your workflow in a slightly less pressured way and sort of work out where there's room to improve things. Trying to change everything at the same time was not my best idea. But it's all worked. Sounds great. We got there, less hair than I started with, but what can I say? Anyway, those are my sort of 5 main takeaways from this interesting period. Now I'm back and we're going to be doing obviously regular stuff as we were before. And I'll do a little video just to flag this up, but I'd really like to know from you what you actually want to know. Do you want those little tutorial videos where we say, this is how music theory works? Or do you want to see me there smashing away writing stuff or reviewing software or just a lot of that kind of stuff all smashed together, the way we've done in the past? Anyway, it's really nice to be back. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, now is a great time to do so because we're going to be checking out a ton of content and it's all going to be very exciting, I hope. Could be dull as ditch water. No, it won't be. It will be stung exciting. So, thank you once again for your company, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye-bye.